student all here.
All right. Let me just share the screen. Okay, I'm just going to go through what we have covered for the last 7 sessions. All right, so I'm going to cover that, and you can ask questions pertaining to those things that we have covered, plus anything more than that. Right? So a very good evening, everyone. It's me again, Kelvin. I hope you are ready with your questions. Then we can move forward quickly on some of the things here. So on the first session, I actually go through some very basic stuff, like the file, the what do you call it, the data that we are talking about, the text and number. So I mentioned to you guys that the what do you call it, how Excel perceive the number and text is different from us human. So I mentioned to you guys that text is on the left, number is on the right. So those are the things that we talk about. Then we also talk about date. Now, one of the critical information that all of us should know about the date is you must understand how the date behave in Microsoft Excel. So Microsoft Excel and Windows, they tie it together. So when Microsoft Excel actually don't detect whether you read your date text, day, month, year, or month, day, year. They follow your control panel, the region setting that you put in. If you use US, you will see that it's going to be month, day, year. If it's use UK, Commonwealth, then you will use day, month, year. So you make sure you check your computer before you decide the data entry. Okay, so each and every date is actually a serial number behind it. Okay, so this one was the date on that day, 3rd of May. So if I press Control semicolon today, it's 21st of June. So when I press enter, you see the number is 44733. Today, that's today's number. Every day there will be a new number. Okay, but this number don't change because it's not a formula. It's just a keyboard shortcut that created the date. So it's Control semicolon. Okay, so because the date is a number, then we can perform calculation. Only number can perform calculation. Right? So after you have you got this, I actually created an exercise here to tell you that how do you know whether your number is a number or your number is not a number. So you can write a formula called is number. You are checking the cell whether they are number. So if it says true, yes, this is a number. If you say false, then this is not a number. Okay, so that's the method I show you was to do a copy and paste special paste operation. So I type 1, then I copy this, I go into this, I just paste special. Remember the paste special? Let me just do this copy. Now this is already number, by the way. So I just go into the paste special. There is this paste operation that you can use. So you can do all the subtract, multiply, divide. So you always ask yourself, if I multiply, I'll get back the same number. So you see this number 6019. If I multiply 1, it will be the same number. I divide 1, it will be the same number. But I cannot add, I cannot subtract. It will change the number. Now our intention here is not to change the number, is to preserve the number. Therefore, we have to use, if we type 1 here, we have to multiply or divide, not add or minus. Unless this is 0, we don't multiply or we don't divide, we cannot divide by 0, or no, we can multiply with 0. If we multiply 0, the number here will change. Remember, idea is to preserve the value. So we can do a plus or minus for 0. So that's what you do. All right. I also go into the extent of telling you about formatting. When it comes to the formatting, we are talking about how to make the date presentable to your audience, especially when you are presenting it on the projector or during your Microsoft Teams meetings and so on. So you can change the format to what do you call it? You can change the format to something that makes sense to those people. So you see, you can use D, M, and Y. This is how they look like. Right, this is how they look like. Okay, then we go into number formatting. Then we also compare it with conditional formattings. A little bit of conditional formatting, we can use that. So I hope you still remember some of these terms that are used here. So this one is the positive, negative. No, sorry, this is the be greater than million. This is greater than 1000. So if this is correct, they will use this format. If it's wrong, we will use this format. Okay, if it's more than 1000, we will use this format. Right? Otherwise, it will just use this format. You just keep on moving lah. By the way, there are only 3 number formatting and 1 for text. Okay, so maximum for number cell number formatting, custom formatting, there are 3 for number, 1 for text. Right, so that's a discussion on that day. And the last one was we try out this one. We try out symbols, we try out the colors. So there are 56 colors altogether. I remember I gave you another file which contains the number code. You can play with those number coding, the number code 1 lah, 2 lah, 3 and so on. So you use the COLOR, American spelling, followed by the number. The hash here actually represent number. Okay, I have 3 sets here is to show you that if I have white background, I have dark background, and I have some light color background. Right? So you will notice that some color will only stands out depending on the background that you see. Okay, so these are some of those things that we talked on the first day. Right, any question on the first day? If you remember. Yep, guys. Let's see if Stephanie, you have any questions? Siva, Ivy, Nicholas.
So far, okay.
This part here can still make sense out of it lah. Okay, cool.
I was there on the first day, but I'm not. Sorry.
Oh, you're not there on the first day, but do you watch the video?
No, haven't got the time yet.
Okay, busy man.
I would love to get the video though.
So if you
Nick,
need the video,
I think they're on YouTube.
Okay, go check out.
There's I think there's what they call the MHUG channel. Cole, can you share the link on the chat window?
Sure, I will share later.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for.
Okay, so if how about Mike? Mike, do you have any question on the first?
I just logged in. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, we were just going through. We are going through what we have learned.
Sorry.
On the first day lah. Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Number formatting. Okay.
No, this is what we learned on the first day. Were you here on the first day?
I think so. I could not remember.
Oh, don't give me heart attack. Okay, I spent the whole 1.5 hours talking.
Year format.
Roughly bring back some memory lah. Yes, no? Or totally alien to you?
Set link file.
How's about Stephanie? Stephanie, what do you think?
Still okay.
Still okay, right.
Yeah, but Kelvin, I'm just wondering, all these, what you put all the formulation here and there, you already, I mean, this, what you show now, actually, you already upload in the OneDrive?
Yeah, it's all in OneDrive, right? No way. Wait,
Okay.
let me check. I believe I already do that now.
Yeah. That just in case when maybe others, when they review the video, then they can just open it and then they will see, oh, this get formulation, that get formulation, they can try to review it faster.
This is the OneDrive folder. You are seeing the folder, right? There?
Yeah. Okay, the one that completed.
The one we completed is with this all this thing.
Okay, thanks.
The one without the computer is the original one. Without.
Then others that review the video can try to open both to check on that one. It will be faster. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so if you're okay, we continue with the day 2. So the second day we talk about references.
Cool.
Okay, so I talked to you guys about the 3 different type of references: relative, absolute, and mixed. So if you can still remember, the relative is just a normal reference that we always see whenever we write formula. Absolute reference is the one that we put the dollar symbol. So that makes it fixed and make it permanent. It will not move anymore. So if you give them the dollar symbol in their reference, therefore you are actually locking the cell to stay. Now when you give $2 symbol like this, that means this is permanent reference. They are not moving anywhere. Right? On the contrary, if you only give $1, one of the dollar symbol, whether it's at the column or it's at the row, it will only lock whatever that is in front. Which means if the dollar is at the A, that means they are locking the A. But if the dollar is in front of the 1, that means you're locking the 1. 1 means it's the row. This is the column. This is the column, this is the row. So the dollar come first. So you see money come first. Money come first, that's what they lock. So don't get confused if the dollar symbol happen to be in the middle. So they always put a dollar in front of that particular object, whether it is a row or column. Right? That's the different type of references. So this is a very simple exercise where we talk about how to get a total. I actually show you the formula, how they actually change. So we are talking about relative reference. Then we wrote the formula to get the percentage where we talk about the dollar. So when we put the dollar next to this G15, when we copy the formula down, you will notice that the G15 don't change, but the G3 change to G4, G5, G6. Right? Simply because it's a relative reference, and the one is G15 is the absolute referencing. So in Excel, whenever we write a formula, we will need to make our reference either maintained as relative or an absolute. And a very rare occasion, when you write some complex formula, you will use the mixed reference. Mixed reference comes in only when you're writing some complex formulas. Otherwise, it's always absolute or relative. So I then told you that absolute reference can have another form of appearance, which means it doesn't have to have any dollar symbol. You can give that particular cell a name. So where I told you guys that we can name this cell. That means this G15, instead of call it G15, in this exercise, I call the cell channel total. If you remember this name, channel total. So this channel total actually represent this particular cell. Just like everybody call Mike as Michael, then Stephanie, each and every one of you have your name. So that is your name. But in this case, the cell now has a name. So when you give a name, the name is basically similar to absolute referencing. So the name can be a single cell, a range of cell, or a table by itself, right? It can be the entire data considered a name. Just like what we did for VLOOKUP. We'll come to VLOOKUP later, but when we write the VLOOKUP, we can actually name that range so that it is not fixed. It's not going to move whenever we copy the formula somewhere else. It's always referring to the same data set. Okay, when we do the VLOOKUP. Now, in this case, what we are doing is we are writing a formula that calculates the percentage, but this time you notice that the formula says channel total because we name it already. Okay. On top of that, if you go to this arrow down, drop down arrow here, this drop down arrow, you can see all the names that is inside this file. Okay, so you can go to direct. Like I said, it does not have to be one cell. It can be a range of cells. Okay, it can be a range of cells. Online, then you have your retail. You can have each and every product here using the code then you highlight the code, right? PST, you go to PST. So what I did was, I think I mentioned to you that how you can actually make use of those names if they are actually a range of cell. Okay, so if I want to know what is the total for online, so I can always say equals to sum online. I can do that. I don't have to memorize that it's E3 to E13. I don't need to remember that. I just remember it as online. And I can do this on any worksheet, not necessarily only this worksheet. Okay. So the name can also be used as an intersection formula that I mentioned here, intersection formula. So if you put two range cross each other, then you have an intersection. But if you give two range which is parallel together, you are not getting any value. Okay, when you have two range parallel horizontal like this, they don't touch each other, you will not get any value as well. Okay, so for example, if I put here equals to direct, then space, then I put in here retail. So you notice these two range does not collide with each other. They didn't intersect with each other. Therefore, the answer is going to get is none. Now you won't get anything. They didn't intersect with each other. But when they actually intersect with each other, which means if I take this S1L plus this online, this selection here, the online, there will be one cell which they're going to collide. That cell which they actually intersect, that will be the number. So you see this one, 1270728. That is because we wrote the formula as online, then we put a space as S1L. So this particular formula can be written in any worksheet in the same workbook. Right. So those are the things that we talk about. Second, in this list here, after we took the time to talk about this tree, we go into the name range, right? So we also talk about how to modify the name. So we go into the name manager. Name manager. So go to the name manager where you can do the editing of names. If you find that the name called maybe online is not such suitable, you can go to that particular name and click edit. You can change the name. No problem. Okay, so you can change it to any other name that makes sense. Right? But remember, all the names cannot have spaces, cannot have symbols, not even space, and you cannot start with a number. Okay, you cannot start with a number. You have to start with a number. You have to put a number at the back. But when you put a number at the back, you cannot use any existing name. You cannot go to any existing like ABC123 because ABC123 is available in the cell reference. So you cannot change another cell reference into your name. You can't do that. So you have to be careful not to use the existing worksheet and so on. The cell names, not worksheet, existing cell names. So you can change the name anytime. You can also change the reference. So if you feel that this is not the right reference, you want to change it, you go ahead and change it. Right, so this is the place, name manager. So you just go to the name manager. Yeah, you can start changing this already. Now, just to let you know something, I was teaching Microsoft all this while. The other day I was doing some class called Google Sheet. I found so many limitations that Google Sheet can't do. There's no intersection formula in Google Sheet. They can't do this. They just cannot. Then a few other things. Their name manager, they have it, but they don't have that thing that we did here. See, we want each column here to follow the name on top. Then we have this create from selection. They also don't have that. The whole group of students was fun enough to actually look for the button together because the company actually have Excel users and Google Sheet users. And one more, WPS. So the company have a mix of Microsoft, not Microsoft, a mix of Office application. So they have WPS, which is from the China made, what company is that? Star Office. Star Office. So WPS, we have the Google, we have Microsoft. So there are 3 group of people in the company that uses different application, but they are sharing the document with each other. So it's the way they do things has to be a little bit more careful, but the feature-wise, Excel is still Excel, spreadsheet is still spreadsheet. There are certain formula they can use, there are certain formula they cannot use. So that class was just like an introduction to all of them, that there's a certain thing that those Excel users have to be careful with. There are certain things that those Google Sheet users, they have to be careful not to give something that the rest of the application can do. As far as WPS is concerned, it's just a copycat of Microsoft Office. WPS, if you know how to use WPS, you go into WPS, you don't even know that you're actually using WPS. It looks and feels exactly like Microsoft Office. Right? Some of the buttons are missing, but more or less everything else is similar. So that was a very good discovery in that class. They actually asked for an Excel class, but then at the end they say, I can't find this, I can't find that, and then I got curious. Then when I open up the file, I said, then this is not Excel. Then we start to discover where is it in Excel, where is this in WPS. There's a lot of what you call feature hunting in that class, right? Now, the last thing that we discovered, we talked about in the second section was how to create a 3D reference. So this formula that I've shown you guys, right? I've shown you guys here before. Now I changed the name really. It used to be Chris until, no, it's not Chris. It should be Donna until Vanessa, but somehow the name changed to Linus and Carissa. So I was making some changes. So this is what we call the worksheet range. We are actually ranging the worksheet. So by doing that, we are actually using something called the 3D reference. We are not ranging the cell, but we are ranging the worksheet. You notice only one cell, C5, but the range of cell between Linus and Carissa, there's a lot. Right? So if you look at the bottom here, the worksheets, sorry, go to a second. So we have Linus, we have Cole, we have Stephanie, we have Noel, we have Carissa. So there are 5 worksheets together that we add up. So we actually tell them to range from the first worksheet here, Linus, all the way to Carissa. So whichever worksheet that is in between Linus and Carissa will be added into the formula, because the function we used was sum. Okay, got it? So this is the last topic that we were talking about. And yeah, it's pretty simple to use. So let me just show you how we write this again. Right, equals to sum. So what we do is we use our mouse, we click on minus, or hold down the shift key, we click Carissa, then we can click the C5. Okay, so enter. There you go. You can do it. Okay. Now, any question regarding the second thing?
No, it's okay for me.
Okay, now Ivy.
Yeah, yes, it's not fresh.
So I started off something. Yes, Mike.
Yeah, so you said 3D references. Are you saying that we have to have a table name or range name? Then only can do it.
No, nothing. You see where got name? No name. This one is just a worksheet name only. The worksheet is Linus. Yeah, it's a worksheet name only. If you don't name the worksheet, it'll be sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, sheet 5.
Oh, okay.
This is not the normal name is sheet 1, sheet 2, right? But I just because I change it, then in the formula they will follow.
Okay.
Now
Right.
this has nothing to do with the name. Don't
Okay.
mix up. Don't mix up everything. This one name over already. The story over already. Then we move on to another topic called 3D reference. You don't mix this knowledge together. It's two different.
So the 3D reference basically is the refer to the tab, other spreadsheet tab.
Your question again? Refer to what?
No, refer to
Oh,
the
tab.
tab. I mean the sheet, other sheet tab.
Yeah. Mike, let me ask you. Let me ask you. If you want to add up the pure soft detergent 100 ml
Hmm?
from Linus, okay, this quantity plus with Cole, this quantity plus with Stephanie, this quantity, Noel, this quantity, Teresa, this quantity. How do you do that?
So you say using this method lah.
Yeah, if you don't use this method, how are you going to do it?
Three-dimensional.
No, Mike, what I'm saying is if you don't use this formula, how else will you do it, right? You will use, you will write a formula there like equals to minus this cell, then you plus this cell.
Oh,
You will do like that.
Yeah,
You will,
this is complicated. This is complicated.
Is this complicated? This is what we always use. It's not complicated, but it's time consuming, I would say. Now, I only have 5 worksheets, but if you have 20 worksheets, 50 worksheets, then that's very time consuming because you need the plus, and the formula gets very long.
Okay.
You might not even, you might not even know you missed out one worksheet, you know.
Yeah, I got it. I got the meaning already. Thank you.
So when I use this, I'm actually ranging it. That means I actually don't want to plus 1 by 1. So I actually go down here. I tell them, okay, you sum up C5 from Linus until Carissa. This is called a 3D reference. You are ranging, like I said, you are ranging the worksheet. Got it?
Yeah.
But with one condition though, all your design for that worksheets have to be identical. Okay. All the worksheet design, see like the arrangement of all this product, the arrangement of this title, information has to be within the same cell. Then you can use this formula.
I mean, each tab, all right, need to have these 5 fields exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Okay.
So usually what we'll do is we will make a copy only. We design one, then we copy, paste, then it will be exactly the same. Right?
Yeah.
So when you actually design it in that way, you make it the same, then it helps you in your formula. Okay. Now, on the third day, we go into VLOOKUP. So in the VLOOKUP, we have a very long discussion. If I'm not mistaken, we had a very long discussion about the VLOOKUP. Okay, some of you finally realize why your VLOOKUP doesn't work and so on. Because here we discuss about what are the rules, how the VLOOKUP actually works. The brother of VLOOKUP is the HLOOKUP, you know. So we talk about the 2 different types of lookup, VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Okay. Then we also talk about what are the criteria or shall I say the settings that you put in for your range lookup, whether it's 1, whether it's omit or any number. So all these things we talk about that. Then whenever your lookup value, if you remember, this is the value that we are using as a reference to find the discount. So 133, we look inside here, the first column, and then we will find out what is the discount amount, the discount percentage, the discount percentage. So we find it. So that's how the VLOOKUP works, right? So we understand each and every one of them, how they work. So for this lookup value, if the lookup value is a number, so there is a chance that you're going to use either true or false for your range lookup. So I gave you some example on that day. We were saying about if this is an employee ID, this is like an invoice ID, a customer ID, product ID, all those are a one-to-one match. So that has to be false. But when you're looking for something like this, where the value that you are referencing is between a range of value, then you have to use true. This is between a range of value. So 133 doesn't exist here. 133 exists in between 100 to 150, in between. Therefore, we will have to use the statement called true because they are asking a question here. Are you looking at a range? If your answer is yes, that means you have to use true. But when we ask you, are you looking at a range and you say no, no, that means false. False means exact match. If I want to look for 133, I want to make sure that I'm looking for 133. If I cannot find 133, then no answer will be generated. Okay, so those are the things that we discuss about this VLOOKUP. Then I give you exercises on when it is a lookup value is a alphanumeric or text. Now alphanumeric is considered text. We actually took the product ID to find the product name and the standard price. Okay, so this is what we have done. And we finish it up with a bit of complication here. We talk about index and match, another function which you can use to find the data as well. And I also show you how to make that particular formula works, the VLOOKUP works, when the arrangement of the column is not complying to the VLOOKUP standards. VLOOKUP standard says whatever you want to match has to be in the first column. In some books, they say leftmost column of your table. I find that a bit hard to understand. So I just name it as, okay, you must remember the value that you use to do the lookup must only match the first column of your table. So if you call this a table, then it must match the first column. But in this case, you notice that product ID matching product category doesn't match, right? Our product ID should match the product ID. So if this is the table given to you, alternatively is you will use a virtual way to arrange it, which means you are using the function called choose to rearrange the column. Now this one require practice. If you only attend the class the other day and you didn't use it, you forgotten about it, you will find that this is like, hey, we learned this before. Something new. If you have never practiced it, you will forget. So this requires a lot of practice. As far as VLOOKUP is concerned, it's a very straightforward formula, but your data is the one that makes it complex. So I also suggested an alternative to use index and match. Okay, index is the function that pull data out. But how do they pull out? They must know in that set of data, the information you want is in number what. So they will start looking for that particular information. So how are you going to ask them to look for the information? You use the function match. So when you put these two formulas together, they become a good couple to work on that. Now I also gave you a bonus topic here. The bonus topic is actually the indirect. Indirect. How many of you still remember the indirect? Anyone?
No, forgot.
Forgotten already. Now the indirect is like this. If I come here, I change here to product name. Product name. So enter, it will become product name. It will follow the title of your range. This particular set of cell here, this range of cell is called product name. So when you change the title, they will follow the title to look for the information. Which means you are making your table, whatever you look up, very dynamic. They are not fixed to one information. You change the title on top here, you can get any information you want. Okay, so if you want to recall, yeah, please watch the video number 3. Video number 3, Core has recorded it, and I'm sure this is still there if you watch the video again.
Of course, I will share the link later.
So any question on VLOOKUP? Stephanie, did you try your VLOOKUP at work?
Yeah, but I always need to review your formulation, then only I can remember. So I think I need to practice more.
Practice lah. Practice will always make it easy.
Yeah, but for myself, I still prefer to using index and match because I
Yes.
don't want to using VLOOKUP to calculate which number, which column, number 3 column, number 4 column, I would like more direct. That's why index match always is my prefer.
Good, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay as long as whatever you are using, right, help you get what you want now.
Yeah.
End result is more important one. What you use is secondary, right?
Thanks.
Good. So at least I know I have a buddy here that also like index and match.
Kelvin,
Yes, Mike.
can I know again the purpose of this indirect? Because I really cannot catch it, you know.
Okay. Can you do your function like VLOOKUP? For example,
I did the VLOOKUP, but I did not did just now that formula.
okay, I just want to explain to you. Let me explain to you. You look at this table in product name is column number 1, 2, 3, 4 ma.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at this VLOOKUP, it stick to 4 all the time.
Okay.
It stick to 4 all the time. So if I come up here and I change this to category, you notice it won't change anything.
Change anything?
Yeah, lah. It doesn't. That's why you see it doesn't change anything, right?
Yeah, doesn't change anything. Yeah.
Yeah, this is how a normal VLOOKUP will work.
Okay.
But in this formula, that particular title on top here play a very important role to show which result you want. So if you come and tell me now, hey, don't show product name, just show the category. Okay, I change it to category. I change the title to category, then it become category for me. So the indirect function is using this title to fetch the information for you. And this particular column is called category.
Okay.
It's called category. So if you look at the index match, it says that index E36. E36 is this one, no?
Yeah, this one category.
So actually, you go and index the category. That means you want this information. How are you going to find the information? You do the matching. You take this product, go to the product ID and do the matching. So if the product is SUPA 104, then you look for SUPA 104, then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you know the fifth item, right? So you come here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a softener. See? Softener.
So meaning, Kelvin, as though that we type in the sub name for category, similar to product category, matching one word, then it will come out. Is it what you mean?
No. You see, I name this column. Mike, listen up. You see the one I highlight here? I already named this column as category, not product category.
Yeah.
You see up here, this range. Okay, what is the name?
Category.
No such thing for product category. That's why when I type here category, they find the category for me. If I type here now, what do I call this column? What do I call this column? This one, right? What do I call it? STD price.
STD price, yeah.
So if I go to this subhead here, I put there STD price, it will show me the price.
Oh, I see.
So the indirect pick up the title in E36, which is this one, and then they call out the information for you.
I see. Okay.
So that's the purpose of the indirect lah. Now, you only use indirect when you want to prepare a very dynamic formula, report. If your report are all static one, don't want to change one, your boss very strict one. Hey, don't change the column lah. Put category why you change? Then okay lah. Then no point using indirect one. But if the boss very fickle-minded one, today one category, tomorrow one this, then want to do the arrangement all over again. Now imagine how much work do you need to do if today he want this one in front, tomorrow he want that at the back. So what you do is you just tell your boss change lah, standard. This one is the what? Product name.
Mm,
Just
I
follow
see.
the title
I
that
see. I
you're
see.
given for this list. Is called product without the space. Product name. Then the product name appear. So whenever he said, hey, put the standard price first, then only the name. Just type lah. You know, just
I
change.
see. I see. Okay.
So you
Okay.
don't have to rewrite the formula lah.
Yeah, I get the meaning already. So me in dialect basically is refer to
The name.
if anyone want any particular field to display in between for the table, right? You can use this method. Okay.
Yeah, the indirect actually point to
Yeah.
which information you want.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe the boss one, like you
Indirect-
say, the boss one in this manner. Okay. Right.
Indirect is also the way you use when you have multiple data in multiple worksheet. You have so many worksheet, right? So
Yes.
sometimes your boss says, I want to look from can you show me the product from the supplier called Kayaba? Okay, so I put the title here, Kayaba. These are the lists. So it will appear accordingly. So you can refer to different worksheet. You name all the database one by one, give them a name. Or maybe I don't call vendor, I call year. So I got 1 year of data in worksheet 1, then another year in worksheet 2, another year in worksheet 3. So I say, okay, let's look at the report for year 2020. So I just go and change the title 2020. Then all the information for the year 2020 is out. Then suddenly it was show the 2021. Okay, you just change 2021. Then you notice YEAR 2021. Then the whole list will appear according to the year that you want to see.
Yeah.
It become dynamic in a way that I don't have to rewrite my formula every worksheet.
Yeah. I got it.
Indirect.
Yeah. In dialect.
Okay. Thanks for asking. I believe a lot of people want to know that. Okay. Any other question? Thanks, Mike, for the question.
Thank you.
Carissa, can follow?
Yes, can.
Can, okay. Ivy, okay,
For me, because I didn't attend this session, I need to review back the YouTube.
Okay, go back to video lah.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
So you have no idea, like in Penang they say liap bo kiu, I don't know what you're talking about.
Concept I know lah, formula tak faham lagi.
Watch lah. The video will be there for a long time lah, according to Ko.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So no other question, then I move on. So in number 4, comparison. Oh, I was talking about range and table, if not mistaken. Wait, am I talking at number 4 again? Oh no, different. Yeah, I think I gave you guys homework for this one, right? The comparison. I gave you guys some homework when it comes to this topic, and I want you guys to find the comparison. Don't know whether you still remember this formula. This one.
Oh, you're asking who is actually resigned.
Who resigned? Who is the new staff? We did that. Okay. So watch that video again about this particular topic. If you want to know, you can ask. Let me close. It's slow already. And I also share with you one of the thing that I have done for my customer before. I didn't do this for the customer. I share the concept with them. So you have to imagine this is in the different worksheet, and this is what they want. I give them a concept, so they have to deliver it themselves, because I don't charge them for this kind of work. I give them the concept, so I want them to think and create. So what I did was I showed them, okay, if you assuming the company want to do something like, I type in the company name, I would like to see the transaction for that particular database or the transaction from this client. So if they know the customer name, go ahead. Now, here I didn't tell them to type the full company name because it's too long, right? So I just use some keywords, some keyword. So if they put there WOR, WOR, so they will have company that has WOR here, like worldwide and teamwork WOR. So these two company has WOR inside the name. So they will list down all those company that has WOR. Now, what is actually required by the customer is when they type the company name, he wants to know all the transaction that took place by the company. That means how many item or how many times this customer has already purchased with us. Just type the name only. They can check the history when they buy, what they buy, how much they actually bought it. So they just have to put in some keyword here. So there are 3 different types of search they put in. One is the customer ID, the name, then followed by their phone number. So usually they say, I cannot remember the company name, how to spell it. I don't know what is the customer ID. So, okay, what is the company phone number? The person in charge phone number. So just type it in. If it's already there, then the whole thing will come up. Okay, so there are few ways to do the search now, right? Usually phone number is unique to every company now. You won't have one company having the same phone number. So phone number is one of them that you can search. If your client is individual client, is not corporate, then every person will have their own unique ID, their IC number or their handphone number. Usually, a lot of people don't want to give away their IC number, so you can replace it with handphone number. But in this in the event that the customer actually changed handphone number, then there'll be a trouble lah. Usually the IC number is the one that you can match. Like I said, this is all the data protection thingy, so they normally don't want to give the IC number unless you are some authority lah. So here, I just give them a concept. Whatever they type here, this information will appear. So if they type here SO, so all the company with SO will appear. I give them this solution. Basically, it's nothing but VLOOKUP. If you look at it, it's VLOOKUP. It's just that this VLOOKUP is not a direct VLOOKUP that I show you in the example just now. So it built on top of so many other things. Okay? The base formula is still a VLOOKUP, but each parameter in that VLOOKUP has been replaced with another function. Right? For example, if I go to this VLOOKUP, you see my lookup value is not a direct pointing to one cell. It's actually a row. I VLOOKUP what? Right? Then where? This table. Then which column are you looking for? So it's using column number now, and then false. So on top of it, most of the item here is not a fixed number. It's actually a running number that I put in like rows and columns. Okay. Now, how do they do that is because I want to find the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. There are 5 items here. I want to know the first record, second record, third record. How do they find out which one is the first record that has SO? Which is the second record that have SO? So there is an index column that we created here. There's an index column here. So there's a formula inside here, So this formula, we use the if is number search followed by max n pluses plus 1. Okay, so what we actually want to do is the first thing is search. We want to know whether this particular name here in L3, which is SO, is it available in D3 or not? Got such thing called SO inside D3 or not? If yes, they will give you true. If no, they will give you a number. If no means they will give you an error. So this is why you see is number. We want to know whether it's a number or not. If it's not a number, then it becomes false. What happens when it's true? We tell them, please go and find the maximum number from B2 to B2. Now, B2 is not even a number, so the answer is 0. So 0 plus 1 will be 1. Therefore, you get 1. Right? When there is a SO, they will calculate everything here. So index is not a number. 0 is not 1. The highest now value is still 0. So 0 plus 1, then you get 1. So when you actually count from here to here, what is the biggest number? So it's 1. So 1 plus 1 become 2. So you see this max, the max value up here. What is the biggest value? 1. 1 plus 1 become 2. So for this one, why this is 3? Because it says you count, you actually find the maximum number from B2 until here. So from this stretch here, what is the biggest number? Is 2. Then 2 plus 1, 2 plus 1 become 3. That's how we get the sequential number here. Then when we do the VLOOKUP, we want to look for number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. But I don't want to put the number 1, 2, 3 here. I use the row function. I use the rows function here. You see, this rows function, I highlight, then I press F9. You tell me it's number 1. So they will go inside this table and look for number 1. Please go and study the formula. The one that started the whole conversation is this one, whether there is a SO or not. So once you know the SO, then you write the VLOOKUP here. Now you have a choice to choose what formula, which column you want to see. But in my example, I use everything. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I use all the 7 columns. But of course, the choice is yours to bring out which column you want. This is, again, another VLOOKUP example that I've shown you guys. Now, I know I'm going a little bit fast, but this is actually just a recap of what we have learned for the past weeks. Then number 4, we actually discuss about the easy topic now. Right, the easy topic. We talk about the range versus table. Now, this topic here is basically to prepare you for the following topic, pivot table and also Power Query. Pivot table and so Power Query. So only when you have a table, you will be able to what do you call that? To perform your data in a dynamic way. So I explained to you about the formula. What happened when you use formula? What happened when you use table? Okay, a structured reference is used and followed by chart. So how do you make the chart become dynamic? Every time I add on, something else comes out. So I also show you some example of that. Do I have a finished work on this one? I don't think I save. No, I didn't save. I think the last 3 I didn't save. So sorry about that. I don't even have the saved copy. But this one is just to tell you the range. Range is basically Excel ranges, A1 to J45. That's called range. But table, they are on their own. A table is basically a form of a database already. They have their own world already. They don't use ABC anymore. They don't use 1, 2, 3 anymore. They use their header. So that's why they got something called a structured reference. Okay. Anytime when you add in new record, the table automatically pick up that information. Okay. So once you know much about this table, when you go into the following topic, the following topic, topic number 5, we talk about Power Query. That's where the complication starts in many ways. Okay. Remember this when we do all this testing, when we put all these files inside one by one, and then they actually collected into one file. Do you also remember that?
Oh, then into one file, right?
Remember, I mentioned something like if I have multiple branches sending me the file, whenever they send me the file, I clean up the file and I just put it into one Excel file. Then I can prepare my report. Can I remember it?
Yes.
Stephanie, can Have
Yeah.
you been trying to use?
Now I'm trying to go back to grab all the raw data first.
Grab the raw data. Try to make sure when you grab the raw data, it's a consistent raw data.
Yeah, it should be the same. Just that how I need to reorganize in different plant, different divisions because it's quite huge. So I'm still thinking that try to settle down first, just like what you say, try to make sure the raw data is in order, then think about what we want to do on the Power Query, then things will get easier.
Yes, you can use Power Query to remove columns that you don't need. Like you say, complicated, too many information, this kind of thing. Whatever that is redundant one, you remove from there. Whatever that's column that is like, you don't even need that for your report, remove it.
Yeah.
You are only removing it for your final. You are not removing the actual data. The raw data still got one.
Yeah.
It's the one that you compile together is without the data. That's all. You only pick up what you need. Like the Hokkien say, many times sim, don't take everything. You only take what you need. So from here. Okay, so this is the example that I think I showed when we talk about collecting the data from multiple source. Okay, so I do two example, and I also do the consolidated report. Okay, now for your information, this data here is very messy one. This is like a raw data that you downloaded from your system. Okay, it's a lot of empty cell all over. So if you only use Excel skill that you have to do this, you will spend at least 2-3 hours cleaning up the data before you can even write any report. Now, I'm not talking about this lah. This is a bit easy, but if yours can like Stephanie said, it will be complicated. When I say complicated, it's truly complicated, and then you cannot comprehend each and every column what it actually means. So that kind of data, you really need to sit down and look at every column. Which are the column that you need? Don't remove it from the source data. Bring it into the Power Query. Then from the Power Query, you remove. So that every month when you download the data, the raw data is exactly the same. But the output, the final output, is without the column that you don't want. So if you remove it from your raw data, the second file come in is different, then you will get error. Might as well don't touch the raw data. Leave it as it is. Go into the Power Query and do the work from there. Okay, so you see, it's very messy.
Just one thing, Kelvin, just to clear my doubt. For example, we do it monthly data, just like you say, January, February, March, for example. But then we found actually same customer, we're talking about customer, but January and February is in charge by different salesperson. So when we go to Power Query, do the final report, we can ask the Power Query to show only current one, right?
Current means, what do you mean?
Okay, for example, March. Okay, March, this customer is in charge by A. Okay, but April, this customer is in charge by B. Same customer, but it in charge by different salesperson. So when you do the Power Query for monthly basic data, okay, you want to show only one letter salesperson. You don't want to show the old one.
You can do something called replace value lah.
Replace it lah.
Replace value lah. You can actually tell them look for this. Yeah, replace the value this to this. Yeah, there's a replace value.
In the Power Query.
Yes, there is this option called replace value. You just go to the column and then you just replace value. Then you have to tell them what is it that you want to replace to what.
Okay.
There's a replace value. Now, personally, I suggest you don't change that.
The reason to change is because for boss, they don't care about this customer previously is in charge by which customer, by which salesperson. He just want to know letters, this customer, this salesperson, clear cut. Because if I show the boss saying that, oh, this month A in charge, next month B in charge, the next month C in charge. Yeah, he will think, wow, what this report for? Why so many, one customer gets so many salesperson?
Okay, question to you. Question to you. What do you use to show your boss?
Oh, always when we show our what is a summary report when we already export in one Excels in summary.
Yeah. The summary
Yeah.
report is what? Is it Power Query? Is it pivot table or is it formula you write?
No, it's just non-formulation Excel.
That means it's a table.
Yeah.
You want to show the table.
Yes. This is why that I'm asking that because I think this scenario everybody will facing because always that company will keep on changing salesperson. But when you went to present the thing to your boss don't want to see the old story. They will just want to see the current one. Yeah. So you have to straightforward this
but isn't that-
customer. Yeah.
But okay, that one is to show who is in charge of the customer. Question is, the sales which have been done by the previous salesperson, even though it's not the effort of B, salesperson B, but the number will go to him or her, right?
Yes. Because
Which is
for
not
yeah,
right,
it's actually it's not right, but for boss when they view the report, they are viewed from based on customer base by this term. They're not viewed by the salesperson terms.
You see, when you change and you calculate commission, it's not right already.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If you change and you actually what do you call that? Want to have a precise report about how the performance of this salesperson, then you want to see the performance of the customer purchase based on different salesperson, you won't be able to do already.
Yeah, I understand.
So there are certain report you can't do already. That's why I said don't change, but you manipulate your report. Not, you say you show table, no, show table bo tang gong lah. But if you say you show a report, then report can modify one ma. From the report you see, okay, who is the latest? Let's just say you want to know this customer in the month of June. This month is June ma. Who is the latest salesperson? Then you can do a quick find and replace to quickly just change it, replace it. Right. So at least that's what your boss want to see for that report. But when your boss want to see per salesperson, whether they are still there or not there, or different salesperson, the performance, the customer buy most from which salesperson? If you actually put that into, like, you change it properly, you cannot retrieve already, no.
Yeah, this one asking that if I just suddenly, boss always so demanding changes ma. That's why I'm thinking that temporary, if I want to prepare something like this, can I just let you
Add
say
column,
you see the
don't
replace
replace.
value? Yeah, just replace value just for temporary. Then of course I
suggest you add column.
Add column. Okay.
I suggest you add column and then find a formula that will pick up the latest number and fill it up.
Okay, it means that I still keep old and new.
Yes, there's one column for old and new. There's another column which is the latest. So better than you only have the latest but don't have the old and new.
Okay. So next time if I need changes, then I just pick it.
For me, integrity of the data is very important. We are not supposed to change anything that is very critical to the report. If you do like that, the last person who managed, the sales look so big, but actually not all by her effort. No good lor. Annually, you see, wow, big, how many million? Actually, he only take over 1 month only. So it's not right already lah. That figure doesn't show the actual situation of the customer, is it?
Thank you for your advice.
Don't delete lah. Don't replace information. That becomes that particular data don't have the integrity anymore. It's not real anymore. It's fictional already. You fabricate it already. Not so good. So good.
Okay.
If you have a Japanese company or working in a Japanese company, right, which will have bosses change every 3 years itself, that one, right? Or right, this report, each bosses will have different kind of requirement. Then if you have this integrity data itself, that one, right, then you still can massage the data for your reports itself, basically. It's still intact.
put it as original, no?
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
you can modify it for any kind of changes. But the moment you change it already, then you can't retrieve. You have to do all the way from A again. You know? You have to do from step 1 again. You know? That is very troublesome.
True. Agree. Totally agree.
Okay, so yeah, but this topic we talk about Power Query, we have a very long discussion about all this because this is quite new to most of you when we were discussing this, right? So that is our 5th session, if I'm not mistaken. Our 5th session. Is it 5th session? Yeah, I think it's our 5th session. Then yes, Nicholas.
No, I just telling you I want a video.
You sorry?
No, I just telling Ko. I said I want that Power Query video.
Then look for the day 5. Look for the day.
The link for the MHUG channel has been pressed into the chat window. And click it, and then you go to the playlist and look for TTT.
Okay, thanks.
All the TTT session recording, the session recording is inside.
Okay.
This is not everything about Power Query. It's just that 1 hour sharing only.
Yeah, that's why Kevin, you said that maybe you have another class that you like to explain more on Power Query. So
Yeah.
let's us to explain more. But this one, because just like you say, you explain quite in details that we just learn quite, quite a little bit that we didn't explore more in detail yet for the Power Query. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, you need a lot of different exercises to show.
Yeah. This is why that you have mentioned that if we get the chances that we might do practice more next round. Yeah.
Yeah, we go more on Power Query. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now number 6. Number 6 was just 2 sessions away. We talk about pivot table. Okay, so for the pivot table, most of you have used pivot table before already. What we did, the final thing we did is from this particular data, we convert it into a mini dashboard where the slicer can be used to control the visuals of your report. Okay, so all these are your report, Superstore performance report dashboard. So you can point it by different segment of the business, and you can see the performance. So we talk about all this. So do you have any question regarding pivot table?
So far, okay.
Yeah,
because we can keep rewind the video and to try to understand it. It has a very good sharing and has been recorded.
Okay, so let me just use this data to create a pivot table. Okay, I put it into a new worksheet. I just want to, Stephanie, this is something that you were saying. Okay, net profit. Okay. This is the report, perhaps that you were saying. So actually, in the organization, Erin resigned already. I'm just making up story. Erin resigned already. So Erin resigned. So the number is still there. Your boss don't want to see. Okay, so we'll pass it on to the manager. Whatever the sales belong to Erin, will pass it on to the manager. Assuming that means William from 2-4 must plus the 2-3. So William is actually the manager of all of them. So he is also doing sales. As a sales manager, he is also doing sales. He also have his own accounts. Yeah, then these are the 3 subordinates that works together in that department. So now, in order to correct this, how are you going to add this value to William? Okay, so you cannot show Erin, you cannot show William already. You cannot show Erin and William already. So what you do is you can click on the title here, any one of them Erin, Sam, doesn't matter. But you can actually do something here called calculated item. Calculated item. Okay, so put it here. So you call this one HQ. Maybe I just put a headquarter. Now, some company, what they do is, whoever salespeople left the company, we don't want them to be in the report, so whatever sales they have done before, they will put it into in the Chinese they call it Akong, go into the Akong, the HQ Akong, the company So I put here HQ headquarter So what is it that you are going to do? You're going to tell, okay, it's actually Erin plus William. Okay, Erin plus William. So I click add. So by doing that, I am not adding any field. You see, there is no additional field for the manager, but there is an additional item for manager. So headquarter. So if you look at this number, 4.8 is actually 2.3 plus 2.4. These two add together, you get this. Now in this report, you are not supposed to show Erin, you are not supposed to show William. William is the boss of all of them. And then Erin left. So what you do is you filter them out. That means you don't want Erin, you don't want Erin, you don't want William. So now the report still remain 9.9. So this headquarter is actually related to the sales manager's sales plus the whoever that has already left. Okay, so it can be done in that way. So Stephanie, you make use of this information to show your bosses.
Okay.
So you take the old manager, you add with the latest manager and just keep their name.
Yeah, good idea. Let me try to think about it.
Rather than you go and change in the Power Query, the raw data. I don't know why, sorry, Stephanie, don't go offended. I still do not agree with changing the raw data. That's why I still want to bite on you.
Yeah, it's okay.
No,
because raw data still play a major point that for all the data analysts, better not to change it.
Yes, so you can use report like this to do modification, but you do not change the raw data.
Okay.
The number is still correct, ma?
Mm.
So you can use calculated item. So after you have done the calculated item, Chris also left. No, left Sam only. So you can go to the calculated item. So you make sure when it says calculated item means you must select the name. You cannot select the number. No, you select the number, you notice your calculated item is inactive. Okay, you must click on the title. This one is called item. So you go to this calculated item. You go to that particular headquarter again. See, there's a drop down this one. You click the headquarter again. Then you say, oh, Chris also left. So I plus Chris also. So you add another Chris video. Okay, so just modify and then okay. So now Chris left already, ma. So you tell them, okay lah. Now I also take out Chris lah. So now you got Sam and the headquarter, you know. So you got new people come in, new people. You see this name will grow lah, but got nothing to do with Chris already. Chris sales now all go to HQ already. So your latest report doesn't involve all those people who have left the company. You know what I mean? So assuming your boss not really want to know about the customer, but wants to know about the product category. He's a product guy lah, so he go to product category. So he put it inside the column. Put it inside the column. So now he is looking at this. Now you notice enough, he's looking at the combination of the sales. They don't care which salesperson, combination of, let's assuming this is the customer, then you know this customer or the final figure lah. Instead of seeing so many salespeople, you see one salesperson name lah. I think that's what you want to show your boss, Stephanie.
But my one is much more complicated a little bit.
Yeah, but the concept wise is just.
Yeah, concept wise is there because always that one salesperson is leaving, he or she's customer will be segregated for different salesperson. So
It's
that
better.
one, the combination will be quite complicated.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can, after you get the pivot table already, then you can do any changes you want because it will not affect your raw data one.
Yeah, you give me the idea.
So think about it, how you can use the more advanced way of writing it.
Okay.
Okay, now where were we? Last week. Where is this? Is that the last one already?
Still got last week still got one. Last week is what if.
What if it's not here, man? I think this one, 14 June. Yeah, what if? Okay, what if analysis. So yeah, this one. Okay, we were playing with the goal sake. We are talking about this. So Ken, you asked me question this afternoon regarding this one, right? No, you're asking regarding this, right? So your formula you miss out. Why you get error because you didn't highlight, I think. Is it true, Mike? You didn't highlight and you want to do the goal sake. Sorry, the data table. So you have to highlight. You must make sure that where they come, where you want the data to go to.
Yeah, it's solved already, Kelvin.
Okay.
Yeah, just only the last part about the macro and the scenario, maybe to demo one more
Actually,
time.
the scenario. I was playing with Cole. Remember, I was saying the discount that we are supposed to give. So how come we can sell at 1,003? Because the scenario is we move our costing to a different level. We reduce all our costing so we can still sell. So when scenario is concerned, it's actually used to record down what are the changes you make in order to influence the outcome. These are the changes that you make that influence the outcome here. Okay, so there is no special table that you go, but you just go back to that what if analysis scenario manager. You can name anything. You can add Mike, M-I-K-E. You can call anything on. So for the changing cell, then you must know which are the cell that you use, that you change, that influence the outcome. It can be anywhere, want to know. Can be anywhere, want to know. It doesn't mean that it must be here, but this example so happen it's here lah. Right? So you hit OK, then you change this number to the case study that you have made. It means you have decided, oh, I go to hotel, three-star hotel lah. So the 3-star hotel is not even 1,000. The room, the room is only 800 maybe.
Okay.
Right. So you change the figure here. You don't change here. You change here. So it will be recorded under your name lah, Mike. So this one is 800. Okay. So the room we are giving them the 300 room only lah. Okay. Then the cost material we reduce further to 400 lah. Okay. So this is your case, your scenario already, no? The scenario under Mike already. No? You understand? So if I go to the original costing, I click show. This is my original setting: 15,600, 120.
So okay, that means the losses is 1,007 here for two people. Okay.
Don't bother about that first. Let's look at this part here. You're asking about scenario, ma.
Yeah.
So if I change it to the original costing, this is 1,500, 600, 1,200, and 700. That's the original.
Yeah.
So you don't want to keep on coming here to change, ma. So you can record down it as a case study. A scenario manager is to record down the case study. So your case study, Mike, your case study. So I click Mike, I click show, I click close. This is your case study. Remember, 800, 300, 1,002, and 400. This is your one. So there's another case one. You say you're wondering why is there a stingy Kelvin there, right? So sure. So stingy Kelvin one is this one.
I see. So meaning that I can use insert many scenario to show whether I make a gain or I make a loss. Okay. For example, for two people, right? Just play around. You said that 4-star hotel become 3-star,
Yeah,
or
so
even 2-star.
yes. So there are many different scenarios that drive the result on. So this customer wants to make sure that these people are eating abalone during lunch. So now your costs go up already.
Okay.
Right. So if this customer say, I must treat all my staff very well. Each of them will be getting a piece of abalone, the large one, not the tiny little one, the large one. And must eat the hairy crab, the crab. Each person one piece of crab. So very, very high level kind of a dining, It's not buffet, Buffet is only like maybe 100 ringgit per person. But this one is like maybe each person, the lunch set is actually maybe cost about 4 to 500,000, 4 to 500 per person one. So one table is about 5,000 one. That kind of meal the boss want to give, because all the people there are director Takkan you give them eat the small little prawn kan? So director must give them good food.
Yeah.
So there are many different case scenario. So you can use this costing here to influence your margin, to show which one is the best price you can go, so that you don't lose money selling your cost, selling your product in anything like it can be your calculation.
Okay, understand.
So for those of you who are in finance, you know all those ratio stuff. Now I realize I can use those as example already. So what happened when your inventory ratio goes up? What does that mean? So you will see that the number of day or your working capital, how much is it? Everything can be calculated. Oh, okay, then it should be that way. So then you'll give a target to your salespeople already. Clear my warehouse within 3 days. Then you can have a very good return of a ratio when it comes to that revenue, this kind of thing. Yeah, so I can, at least I can use those example for my financial analysis class. Right. So the macro is just to record down only, to record down that you actually change the scenario. That's all. So if I show you the macro, it's actually one line only.
Is the macro using what, run or what?
Huh?
You execute the macro using run command or what actually?
No, I actually assign it to button. You see this button here?
This
I just
button,
right click, assign. Yeah, I can draw anything like I can put your picture here also.
Okay.
So you just right click your picture or whatever, just go to assign macro and you tell them
Okay,
which
assign
macro, whichever macro you want them to run. Okay, so I just want to show you the macro. The case 1 and case 2 is inside the same module. You notice it's just a one-liner. For those of you who are programmer, you look at this, sorry, I type also can now. This kind of thing. You can do that. If you know the codes and you know your scenario name, just do that. So now if I want my third macro, I just copy this, come down here, I paste. So I change this one to case number 3. And what is the name of the scenario that I just created? Remember, I created another one called Mike.
Okay.
So this is my third macro already. 1, 2, 3. I changed the name to 3 already. So now I just close. I can copy this button over. I right click, assign macro. I go to case 3. This one is special. So special is your one. Special.
I see. Okay.
So macro does nothing but just to execute the macro, just to execute the steps that you record down. Okay, so all you need to do is go to the macro. Okay, drop down list, start record the macro, do whatever you need to do. Right, that means in this case, you name it. Let's just say I call this one testing 1. Testing 1. Okay, so I go to what data, what if analysis, scenario manager. I click Mike. I click show. Then I click close. So macro recorded finish already. Now your step finished already, but you must remember to stop
recording.
step recording. Otherwise, whatever you do will be recorded. They are still recording now. That means they haven't stopped recording. You will have to give the instruction to start. You have to give the instruction to stop. Now, if I go into my list here, I got 4 macro already. The last one I recorded was called testing 1.
I see.
So it's up to you. You want to use this macro, assign macro, you say testing 1, can also. Okay. This was last week.
Yeah. Now
So,
it's clear.
Any question or not? Any other question or not?
Quite clear already, the macro.
Oh my God. Did you look at the time? It's 11 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
No,
10 o'clock.
but it's longer than your normal sessions.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Flies, man.
Time flies, huh?
You don't have
So,
to apologize, Kelvin.
Yeah, I really, I need to apologize also to take up too much of your time. So, Paul, do you want to tell them the plan for coming week, or do you have any plan?
Don't have the plan yet. Would you like to share anything?
Carissa, would you be ready by then?
Will I be ready? Is possible on July?
July is just only 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks from here. Okay, so do you guys have any suggestion? Open for the floor.
I think you need to continue practice. Just very easy to forget this one actually. Only thing is I sort of example, all right, Kelvin. I already told you that I only got the daily expenses which are recorded. That is the one I can play around.
There's so many things you can play around already, because
I'm not sure the daily expenses, the money expenses, yearly expenses, right?
When you do that, right, make an effort to put in category of your expenses.
Yeah.
A timeline of your expenses.
Yeah.
So that you can do some analysis from there.
Okay.
So category is important. What is it spent on? For who? Then all this can break down already. So you can categorize it as, let's just say you pump petrol now, that is for your petrol fuel. You buy grocery, it's grocery, then you know grocery broken down into dry grocery and wet grocery. So you will know it's for who. You buy clothes for who, you buy computer for who. So all those have to be written down there. At the end, you want to do a quick analysis using pivot table, that will be great. Then you will know, hey, everybody, let's have a family meeting. So you call out your son number 1. You know how much we have spent for you 1 whole year?
My son will be on the university course later, pay a lot of money.
So you must tell them that this is the money that has been spent. They have to be aware of.
And then COVID also incur a lot of costs, medical side.
All the masks that you buy.
Very high cost.
All very expensive. I agree.
Yeah, the solution, washing, cleaning.
So at least if you have category of all those, not just jot down what you buy and how much. It's actually with many different category of information. If there's nothing about it, just leave it blank. It's okay. But when you want to do a reporting of it, whatever that falls under this category, the number will be captured. Then you know. Then in 1 month or in 1 quarter, how many times did you go to the supermarket? So how many times did you actually buy from Shopee? How many times did you actually buy from this, from that? So you know where your money goes.
Yeah, a lot of things spent online also, basically. I think a lot of family nowadays, they practice online because they feel that online is cheaper as compared to go to the hypermarket or whatever.
Not really lah. It's just more convenient. More convenient I would say.
More convenience.
It's actually convenient lah. So sometimes you want to buy product A, product B, product C. You have to go to 3 places to buy. You might not be able to get the same thing from the same, the 3 things from the same place. You have to go 3 different places to buy. But if you buy online, you just sit at home and comfort your house. Then the product will just come. So it's more like a convenient. If you think about it, you save petrol. Save on parking, save on petrol, save on your time. That's all you are saving actually.
Yeah. The hypermarket, for us, we won't go weekend if possible. We'll try to avoid that. There's a lot of people actually.
Okay, so Cole, you
Okay.
can collect some information about what else is
Yeah.
we want to
I
talk
actually
about.
shared a feedback form in the chat window. So feel free to input all your comments, your feedback, your requirement, the area that you are interested to learn, everything, anything into the form. And we shall actually have a discussion with Kelvin and all to come up with something that actually more interesting in the near future. Maybe 2 weeks later.
I discussed with Cole and also Noel about the next topic. Everyday Excel also boring. So we're talking about doing Microsoft Word or PowerPoint for another 8 session each topic. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Why not?
what do you guys think? We put Excel to a rest, then talk about another topic and another topic.
Kelvin, I just
Yeah.
have a question. Sorry, Kelvin.
Yeah.
I just wondering, because I'm teaching all the students, all right. Sometimes I need to draw some picture, wherever. So I'm not very familiar the WinWord. Means some graphic picture, drawing, all these things, all right. So I have to go and Google it, copy the picture from the Google site into the Excel, right?
Okay.
Or maybe in WinWord, paste it in, So something that I don't have the knowledge on this, is it?
Okay, you're talking about you are creating your exercises in Microsoft
Yeah,
Word.
correct. Sometimes you have to draw some picture, whatever. Otherwise, I have to draw by hand on a piece of paper. Then after that, I need to actually scan it. And then after that, only post it in the Google Drive, all right, or in the OneDrive, is it?
Okay. Well, what do you think if we go for Microsoft Word? Will there be any taker?
That's why I think WinWord should able to help. I guess so. I'm not sure. Other people tell me that why don't you go and use what is that Adobe product? I said they want to buy again another license, see Adobe whatever. Photo.
If you want, I can share a lot of things with you lah. I will throw in some files inside the shared folder, the TTT shared folder. Some infographics in PowerPoint. You can just use those infographics and type your content inside or whatever. It doesn't have to be picture, it can be a diagram, right? So you start with diagram first. I'll put that inside.
Because for students, sometimes for them to easy to remember, I would tell them to use bubble chart. Those drawing, circle, and those stuff. So at least they can remember, can study, rather than all in text. Make them very difficult to remember.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to put a folder called template inside the TTT. You all get access to the TTT, right? I put a folder called template. Those are actually templates from PowerPoint. Just not from PowerPoint lah. This the template that some people design already. You can just use because they are all editable. You just go in and download some of them. Okay, maybe I just quickly share. Sorry guys, you just go on for a while. I'm talking about this TTT here. There's a template folder. So this template folder, let's just say I take this one, 251 slides. So they have a lots of nice and cool design that you can use. Instead of you drawing it, you can put in your text yourself lah. You put in your text. So like
Break egg
this,
title,
Wow,
score
nice.
chart.
Very nice.
Wow,
Oh,
this one is
This is
supreme
nice,
good.
man.
Very nice.
So
Is this
you put inside the TTT, is it?
yeah, in the TTT, there's a folder called templates.
Wow,
DVD?
thanks a lot.
Okay, all this you can roadmap to flow all this kind of thing.
Okay, downloaded. Thank you. Thank you very
Wow.
much.
Wow, this
Okay.
one is very helpful when we do all the PowerPoint report.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
oh, good. Oh,
so
man.
good.
There is another one which is 330 slides. Some of those you see similar, right? It's because they put in animation.
Yes.
When you run it as a slideshow, you see the animation. So you see every single part of this, every single part over here, right, can be modified one, Like let's say you can just click and take it out one. It's editable, and this text here you can just highlight and just change one.
Yes, yes.
So it's not like those where you download from the Google,
Yeah,
and then you
cannot
realize
edit one.
not editable one. This one is all editable.
Wow.
This one is PowerPoint, is it? Kevin?
PowerPoint. You want drawing, so PowerPoint will be the drawing tools.
PowerPoint.
Yeah. And then
Are
this
you-
one actually not only used for PowerPoint, you can use for Word, like Excel, whatever, because it's
Yeah.
already an image there.
Pick up one.
Very. I'm very poor in art. My art got F9 almost.
Never mind, when you have this one, you become supreme.
You leverage on some of these drawings here, don't have to draw yourself. Time can be spent.
Oh,
Time can be spent in a very productive way one. So this one nice okay lah, I like this one. I take lah. You don't have to take the whole thing
wow. Thanks for good sharing tonight. Wow, this one really saved a lot of time when you're doing a report to find all this.
You see, like Bob.
Cool, man.
Very.
This one is really good.
I got a
Oh,
few thousand of
Oh.
it. It's a lot now.
wow.
Cultures.
Fishbone.
Wow,
Fishbone
this one good.
Fishbone analysis. Yeah. They have this. They have actually very simple one. Don't tell me this one got problem. No problem, right? It's just that the way they arrange it, right?
So we can type the text inside the chart, the
Just
bubble
highlight.
chart there.
This one is just icon . You can change color all those kind of thing .
Wow. It took you
So-
how long to collect such huge data?
Whenever I see nice one, I will just copy and paste . They say this is a compilation . And then disclaimer, this is not my work . This is other people's work . I just jury their
PowerPoint icon.
actually some of them I buy one . Some of them I buy one.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Those days I don't know how to do so buy lor.
Yeah, I found that actually for MacBook, always I see my colleague when they do PowerPoint, they buy a lot of PowerPoint template. It's very nice one.
Wow.
The MacBook one only for MacBook.
Yeah, Keynote . Keynote.
Yeah, that one is really very nice. Very, very different.
It's the designer . It's nothing to do with Mac .
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe because that one get paid, so it become a little bit different.
So like this one, why you got so many similar one? It's because when you present, right, you tell them the concept, then you explain one by one. So the first one, you explain the first one with the
Cool.
content here.
Cool.
Then you
So
explain the
cool.
second one.
Awesome.
Ah,
So they have the animations and all that done for you. So if you don't like the
Amazing.
color, just change lah. If you don't like the color, just modify. I think you know how to change color.
That's so
Oh, the
cool.
pyramid was good.
yeah, that one looks so good.
Just use it lah. Just use it.
Awesome.
For sure,
It's-
this year for my big meeting for the quarter review, for sure I will pick one from this.
Okay, this one, this particular infographic elements is actually to ease you from drawing. Mike, you say you don't know how to draw, so no need to draw lah. You see anything that's suitable here, just copy and paste out lah. They got about,
this is nice.
about few pages.
Very nice. So
Wow.
colorful.
And it's editable one. That means after
Editable
you
some
click,
more.
I think you can make it bigger.
Yes.
Alright.
Oh,
Oh,
It's not picture. This one is all graphic drawing.
very good.
Wow.
oh,
Oh, really?
Okay, so just go to that folder and download lah. I mean,
Done already.
thanks.
There will be another subject for this for learning.
so like I said just now lah, drop this Excel for a while lah. Just number, boxes. Yeah. This is too serious lah. The discussion. If you want fun, you can actually do PowerPoint and Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word got a lot of aha moment.
Especially
Okay,
when I come across to know that when you are a lawyer, you have to very good in Microsoft Word.
Microsoft Word, yeah, they don't actually lawyer tipu one. Everything also they buy template, they just change wording only.
Yeah. I don't know how, but my lawyer team, they're very good in Microsoft Word or whatever they do, comment, whatever, or it's just like they're doing Excel formulation. So for me, just like magic.
That's why I say Word, when you know how to use, there's a lot of aha moment.
Yeah, with something that is quite many people don't know. Excel, yes lah. When people start to know Excel, they say very hard, a lot of formulation. But when you go to Word, hee ha hoo, when you know about that, you found that wow, this is something behind that we don't know.
Yep. Okay, I think it's getting late. You guys need some rest. We'll see you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes,
Sharing
Yeah,
this one.
thank you for the last minute big box gift. It's just like
Christmas.
Yeah.
Just remember one thing, in life, whatever you do, right? All you need to do is just ask. If you don't ask, you won't
Amen.
get. If Mike don't ask this question, the rest of you won't get.
Yeah, thank you,
Amen.
Mike, tonight.
Amen.
Because
Yeah, thank you,
how will I
everyone.
know what you want?
I think, Charissa, you learn a lot from this. I'm still like a turtle. See.
I'm also learning.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what Noel want to listen, right? Want to hear. Everybody learn.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you very
good.
much.
Calvin.
Don't
Night,
forget to
everyone.
fill
Thanks.
in the
Yeah,
feedback
good
form,
night,
everyone.
rest.
Group sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Take care,
Bye.
everyone.
Take care.
God bless.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for Noel.